from her front door. We're hearing now from the family of Ashley Burton, whose body was found in a breezeway at the City Park Apartments off of Fairburn Road in Atlanta. Our Cody Alcorn has this story.
Why her? Why would it be somebody who's trying to make it, who's trying to better herself, who's trying to do right by people, who's trying to help? Why?
Ivory Carter says her cousin moved to Atlanta to make a better life for herself.
She was very known for doing hair and makeup. She was a hair and makeup artist.
Any ambitions Ashley Burton had for her future were abruptly ended on April 11th.
She ran out the house hollering and screaming, beating on doors.
Ashley was running for her life.
But this got to be personal, because you shot her in her house. Then you followed her outside and shot her.
Ivory says she can't imagine why anyone would want to kill her cousin.
She don't put herself in that type of environments. That's why it's like, I'm clueless to how. There was always positive people.
But something very dark happened behind this crime scene tape on Wednesday. Atlanta police describing it as a domestic-related shooting. Ivory says regardless of who pulled the trigger,
I just want justice for my cousin.
she doesn't want Ashley's story to go untold.
I'm tired of all these incidents of trans women just being pushed up under the rug. We are human beings too.
Ivory says whoever killed Ashley took her phone. She's asking anyone who knows who killed her cousin to come forward and to do the right thing.
Issued arrest warrants for a suspect in the death of a transgender woman. Darius Mills is accused of killing 37-year-old Ashley Burton. You might remember her story. She was found shot and killed at an apartment complex on Fairburn Road in April. Mills was being held for another crime when police secured the warrants for his arrest in Burton's death. He's facing several charges now, including murder and armed robbery.
Now, this is a story that happened about a year ago. I would say June 2023. Now, this was a transgender woman by the name of Ashley Burton. And let me just say, a lot of these cases, these guys are on the down low and they're messing with transgender women. And a lot of times, you know, they know that it's transgender, but I think if they get exposed, that's when they want to lash out because they don't want anybody to know. You know, you can't try to hide behind, you know, your true feelings and just come out and be who you are, man. You know what I'm saying? You can't blame it on that person. If you know who they are, just live in your truth and be happy with who you are. But this is unfortunate. It's an unfortunate case here. Now, the Atlanta Police Department obtained warrants for the arrest of a suspect in the death of a transgender woman, Ashley Burton, who was fatally shot April 11th, 2023, at her apartment complex in the city. Darius Mills, 31, was charged with murder, armed robbery, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, and possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony. Now, the local media reported. Now, the warrants were issued Monday. Mills is currently in Fulton County Jail in Atlanta after being arrested for an unrelated crime. Now, Burton, the person that was murdered, she was 37 years old, was a hairstylist and a makeup artist in Atlanta. Her body was found in the breezeway of her apartment building. Police believe that after she was shot, she was knocking on doors for help before finally collapsing, Atlanta's Fox affiliate reports. Now, investigators have said if they've determined a motive in the crime, including whether it was related to her gender identity. You know, sometimes that does happen. I'm not gonna say these transgender, they try to fool people, but you know, I mean, it's possible. And if that's the case, now if that's the case, I wouldn't advise any transgender or anybody try to fool somebody. You know, you gotta be straight up and honest. And if that person chooses to move along with their relationship, then, you know, give them that option. It's not wise to trick people, you know, because I seen a story about maybe a year or two ago I'm not sure if I was watching that show Snapped or whatever show that was, but it was a guy who was dating a transgender for about a year or two. So obviously he knew what that person was, and he ended up killing the transgender because he was exposed. The gentleman tried to break up with the transgender, and the transgender woman wasn't having it, so she exposed him, I guess, on Facebook, and that's when everything went left. So, he was okay if everything was hidden and on the down low, but once he tried to expose him, that's when he snapped. But in this case, Burton's loved ones remember her fondly. Ashley was very loved all the way across the board, like from South Carolina, where she grew up, to Atlanta. Her brother Patrick Burton told the TV station shortly after her death, "She was out and proud about her identity," he added. See, that's what I'm saying. They said she was out and she was proud of it. So that means she probably let the guy know. So, what happened? They say she was proud and she was telling people that this is who I am. You can respect it or neglect it, but actually put it out there and let that person know it's not going to be a secret. Now, the Atlanta police are also investigating the shootings of 2 other trans women. Now, this person goes by the name of Coco Didal, who was featured in the Sundance Film Festival documentary Kokomo City, was shot to death in April. Another woman, whose name has not been released, was critically wounded in January but survived. At least 11 trans, non-binary, and gender non-conforming people are known to have died by violence in the U.S. this year. There are likely many more, given that they may be misgendered or dead named by police or media, or their deaths not reported at all. The majority of victims in any given year have been women of color. I would think to myself that it's not a priority for the police department to investigate these crimes. Even though the LGBTQ community has a lot of power in the United States, so I don't know if it's because they're black, because if they're white, maybe they would investigate these crimes. But nevertheless, it's still tragic. And like I said before, just be upfront and honest. Don't try to hide your identity, from somebody and they start having feelings and then they find out the truth. So just be upfront and honest. But like I said, this is a very unfortunate case. And you guys be careful out there. I'll talk to you later.